Studies and surveys continuously show that over 90% of people find public speaking to be the most or one of the most frightening things that they can do. Age, race, gender, language. This fear is a universal fear. Everyone has it. For many people, the fear of public speaking is greater than even the fear of death. And for good reason. Even the most experienced speaker gets anxious when speaking in public. However, this fear can be controlled so that you can put that fear to your advantage. This fear causes a lot of people, especially students, to spend an incredible amount of time writing their speeches, and even more time rehearsing them, with only one opportunity to actually get up and present their speeches. We want to change this dynamic. We want to make all of the time and effort that students invest in their speech pay off in huge numbers by giving them a lot of opportunity to speak. In this video, I hope to show you a technique that will help your students overcome their fear of public speaking. The normal approach to speech contests has always seemed unfair to me, as it required an enormous investment from students with little real chance for improvement, since instant feedback and analysis are almost impossible to give while the contest is going on. And students are only given one chance to participate and actually speak. It's my opinion that speech contests don't produce enough results to justify the time invested. They're too much sizzle and not enough steak. The first step I take in fixing this outcome is to choose high-interest topics. I want to choose things that students are already talking about outside of the classroom. I want to make sure that the topic is interesting, entertaining, and fun. One way to find great high-interest topics is to follow a company called Table Topics Inc. on Twitter. Every day they post a new and interesting question prompt that your students can use for writing or giving speeches. Additionally, I want my students to write well. I want them to take time to write their speeches. I want them to review it and rewrite it if necessary. I want them to be confident with their speech. So, I have created a worksheet, a template, that you can see here. It has a speech question, a sample answer, and an outline for students to use. This template provides a structure or framework that students can use to build their speeches, as I am much more concerned with the content and not with the mechanics. Making use of a template also allows my students to write their speeches more easily. And as my focus is on speaking and presentation skills, this frees up a lot more time for them to devote to the much needed practice of giving the speech. Once students have completed their speeches, the next step is to partner them up. Once they've got a partner, the teacher should give the proper amount of time for both students to read their speeches and provide some critical and constructive feedback. In my classroom, this takes approximately 3 to 5 minutes. I try to keep the time limit short and strict to encourage students to work quickly, ensuring that they feel a sense of urgency and a little bit of that real-world pressure. After both students have completed their speeches, they fill out their speech evaluation rubrics, which are tailor-made to suit the learning objectives of your class. Of course, custom-made evaluation rubrics are the best, but you can find many excellent speech evaluation rubrics through different Toastmasters organizations. When making these rubrics, you may want to focus on any number of items for each of the judges or for different students to judge. So for example, one student could judge everyone in one area of their speech, or each student could judge everyone in every area of their speech. You also have to decide on what students will judge. There are plenty of things that they can focus on, ranging from speech development to effectiveness, physical characteristics, correctness of the language, their manners, their voice. The list really goes on and on. After students have completed these evaluations, they give them to their partner, and then switch partners and follow the same exact process. After the second round of speeches are completed, students should be put into groups of 4. This gives them the opportunity to give their speech into a little bit of a bigger crowd and get feedback from 3 different people. As the groups are bigger, you'll need to extend the time limit. Usually between 10 to 12 minutes should suffice, should be enough for students to complete this task. After the groups of 4 have completed their practice, the teacher should split the class in half and give each student an opportunity to give their speech in a larger group setting. Here I have a really good suggestion. At this point, I think that students are pretty close to ready, and I think one of the best ways to help them prepare is to get their speech on video. So I have students set up a tripod or have one of their partners use his cell phone and take video of them giving their speech. This video can be used later on for assessment and self-reflection. Students can use that video to find their weaknesses, but also develop their strengths. And finally, only after all of this practice, review, revision, and improvement are students asked to give their new and improved speech in front of the entire class. Again, I suggest that you have students video record themselves giving their speeches. Not only will this show them the improvement that they have made over the course of the project, but it will help them build their own digital portfolio that they can use later on, as it serves a ton of different purposes. This approach works because it allows students to practice their speeches without the fear of being on stage. Students can spend time formulating their speeches, reflect and self-assess, and receive constructive suggestions from their peers who are of differing skill levels and areas of strength. They can do all this before they are finally given a chance to showcase their ability in a way that they feel comfortable. Make sure that after your students have presented, they feel an adequate sense of reward and recognition for a job well done. Make sure that for all of the disciplined effort they have put forth, there is a multiple reward.